Hi guys, welcome to the Mindful Homeschooler. I am so happy you could join me today. My name is Nicole, and on this channel, I document my journey homeschooling my 6th grade daughter and my son who's in pre-K. Okay guys, today's video is a rather large homeschool haul. I've got curriculum, I've got books, I've got supplies, and I have games. Now, the reason that I have such a large homeschool haul so fresh into the new year, well, I guess technically we started mid-July, so it's not so fresh for us. But I generally find that 2 to 3 times a year, I need a lot of stuff all at the same time. And that's what happened here. So I am going to try and break this down in a way that's easier for you guys. I do have a lot of stuff, and I know a lot of you just watch me for 6th grade content. I know a lot of you just watch me for pre-K content. So I'm trying to be mindful of that and kind of separate it in a way that doesn't make you have to watch this whole video if you don't want to. I will put timestamps below as well. So I think how I'm going to break this video up is first I'm going to quickly go over the games and a few supplies that I've gotten, and then I'm going to go into all of my 6th grade daughter's stuff. Then I will segue into the things that apply to both of my kids, and then I will go into my pre-K stuff. I have curriculum, books, and supplies intermixed with all of their stuff as well. So it's definitely going to be a longer video. So I'm going to start with the games, which are my favorite. If you've been around, you will know that I love board games so much. They are one of my favorite things to do for quality time with the family. They're great on logic and critical thinking skills. Even if they're not directly related to education, I feel like playing board games as a family is literally one of the best things you can do. So we have been studying pretty heavily biomes for my 6th grade daughter this year. And so I thought, what better reason or justification to get Cascadia? I'm sure you guys are familiar with this game. This is just essentially creating an ecosystem in the Pacific Northwest. Now, I'm from the Pacific Northwest, but my daughter was about 1.5 years when we moved. So she really doesn't have a good idea of what the Seattle area is. So I thought this would be a fun way to intermix it. This, I would say, is the same difficulty level as probably Ticket to Ride. And it says that it is for ages 10 plus for 1 to 4 players. Okay. So the next one that I have is Forest Shuffle. We have just finished the forest biome and we are going into the rainforest right now, specifically studying the Amazon. So I thought this would be a really fun one. This is more at the same level of parks. And this is definitely 10 plus. This is more difficult than Cascadia, but again, we play games like this all the time. So I'm really looking forward to this. This is where you're creating your own habitat for the flora and fauna of the area. So super excited for that. It may not look fun, but I've heard a lot of credible resources say it's pretty fun. Okay, so this next one is The First Rat. And this has nothing to do with homeschool, you guys. This is just a fun game. Essentially, these rats are racing to build a rocket to get to the moon first, which they believe is cheese. This is actually the most difficult of the 3 games. This is more on the same level of Catan. It's advertised as 10 plus, but the box actually says 14 plus. Regardless, I'm really looking forward to it. And my daughter has actually already opened this and is trying to take all the pieces out. But I have not yet played any of these games, so I'll keep you posted. All right, so let's go into just a few supplies before I go into my 6th grade daughter's stuff. So the first one is this Pilot Frixion clicker. These are the erasable pens. I use these like candy. Like, I'm serious. I go through these so quickly. I just need to bite the bullet and buy a big pack instead of spending $5 like every other week. But that is one I got. I also got white spiral coils in I think about 6 different sizes. I'm running low on a particular size, and I like to have white as a more neutral coil, because I really do like to color code and match everything I bind, but sometimes I just need a basic color. Another thing that I got was these Scotch laminating pouches. I have been laminating like crazy with some of my son's preschool curriculum that I've gotten. And I found that Scotch is the best. I did have a different brand prior. I think it was just an Amazon brand. And I do like these the best. This is a recent purchase, not in this haul, but I just wanted to mention a laminator. This is new for me. And I got the Scotch one. I paid $50 for it, and I absolutely love it. My mom does have one that was maybe $20, and I found when I was like feeding it in, it was kind of going wonky. I really like this. I feel like there's enough space on both sides that when I feed it in there, it doesn't go sideways. So really recommend that. All right, guys, so now I'm going to go on to my 6th grade daughter stuff, and I'm going to start with her mental health curriculum. So this first one I'm going to show you is Wonder House Creative's Wonder Years Mental Health. Now, Wonder House Creative, she's an Etsy creator. She also helps create units for the Love of Homeschooling. She has her own website as well. She creates really great science and language arts units. More, I would say, for late middle school and high school. Like, I will be using her so much for those years. But she recently started a new series called Wonder Years, which is geared for ages 9 to 12. And this is one of the new releases, is this mental health book. And I am so excited by what I see in here. If you watched my September update, then you know that the curriculum we were using, the mindfulness curriculum by Forest Ring Wander, which I do love, but I found it just wasn't going to work for us because I found like it was too old for my pre-K son and it was too young for my 6th grade daughter. So I will be using that eventually with my son. For me, I feel like mental health is a core subject. I feel like it is equally as important to learn about the history of your country or the world as it is to learn how to regulate your nervous system, how to be present, how to let things roll off your shoulder, how to love yourself, be confident with yourself, not compare yourself. I could go on and on forever, but I feel like those tools are just as important for me to teach my children than history and science. So I was really excited about this. It is pretty big, as I showed you, and I will probably do a flip through of this at some point. Okay, so another curriculum that I got is, I guess, sort of for my daughter, but also more planning for my son. I currently have the Art Makes Me Smart membership. I wanted to look through it. They have a human body unit that they release that has all the different systems. It looks great. But they also have around the world, and they have a lot of countries. They don't have all of them. I find that they have a lot of countries in certain continents and a little less in other continents, which I think they are going to be adding to eventually. In this case, I printed off Brazil because we're going to be doing Brazil here in the next month or so. So I wanted to kind of compare and see what was in here. They have a lot of video recommendations. The art projects are a lot of fun. Some of them will be a little young for my daughter, but some of them are right up her alley. So I just wanted to kind of see this resource and what this could help me as far as planning. I definitely will be using this with my son. Like, it has so much stuff in there. It gives you young books, it gives you older books, it gives you YA books, it gives you a lot in here. So looking forward to that. Okay, so now I also have, and I'll put a picture because I don't have it, I ordered Writing and Rhetoric, the student book for level 4, and it's currently on back order, so I don't have that to show you. Luckily, we're not in level 4 yet. Now, I don't actually know if I'm going to be doing level 4. I got the teacher guide for $5 at a used curriculum sale, so I just want to have it in case, but I don't actually know if I'm going to be using it. I've been doing a lot of deep diving into different writing curriculums because Writing and Rhetoric, while it's going okay, I'm just not loving it like I used to. So just a little precursor. Also, my daughter has been expressing that she wants to write a novel, and she actually has started several novels in different notebooks. And so I wanted to give her a little more structure on that because she would always come to me and ask for help. And we actually did use Share Your Story, which I need to do a review on. It was fantastic curriculum, and it goes from ages K to 5th grade. And she's done that program twice for the 5th grade level, but she definitely needs something a little more. She's definitely beyond a 5th grade level in language arts. So I found this Write Your Own Novel Before You Turn 13, 13 Steps for Kids to Turn Your Creative Writing into a Book. And it also comes with a workbook. And this breaks down every single part of a book, your characters, shaping the plot, cliffhangers. I mean, like, this is intense. There's a lot. And this is a very great counterpart. So I've got to figure out if I'm going to include this in our writing, if I'm just going to let her do it organically, because I feel like writing needs to be organic and can't be forced. And she does sit down to write almost daily on her own. So I think we may go through these concepts and interweave these, but I also may just kind of see how much help she wants from me and just kind of let it be her thing, because ultimately I think if she is going to write a novel, it's not going to be because I'm telling her to write a novel. It's going to be because she wants to. Okay, the next thing that I got, which I'm so excited about, Kayla from Ode to Abode recently did a flip through on this. of How to Be Good at English Language Arts. This is a DK book. Oh my gosh, this could not have come at a better time. I'm not going to go through the details of this. I would definitely check out her flip through. She goes in detail. But in my recent video, I talked about how grammar is not my strength and I really need a little more support on it. And I had previously been using this Usborne grammar punctuation, and it was helpful and it also wasn't helpful. What this book has is it has clear examples of things, but it also is almost like its own curriculum. It goes through every part of grammar, of writing, of reading, of comprehension. Like here's an example, adverb phrases and clauses. It gives you different examples and it breaks it down a little easier than I think this Usborne book did. This has so much in it. I feel like I could just take a novel we were reading and we could do everything we needed to do just by using this book. The writing really ties into what you learned in the grammar, as well as like the reading comprehension portions that you're doing. Like for example, you have what is the setting. I think I could definitely take this and I could apply it to what we are learning like in a novel study. So this is amazing. I'm still going to figure out how I'm going to use this in my homeschool other than being a resource, because I feel like this might have opened up a lot for me. Okay, another thing that I got, which I don't think I'm going to use this year now that I've looked at it, is this School Nest reading journal. So my daughter does have a reading log that she uses and loves, and I don't think she's going to fill it up this year. And so I was really curious as to what this had inside of it, this book review and the information. I feel like my daughter would really like this, but I'm like, you know what? I'm going to save this for next year because she would absolutely want to use it. But she already has one. So this was kind of me just jumping the guns. Okay, so the next topic that I'm going to talk about with my daughter is history. If you saw my last video, you know that I was going to be taking over for my mom. I was going to be using Homespun Childhood's Felicity unit, as well as Little School Smith's Felicity unit for the crafts, because I really did want to interweave the American Girls history with my daughter. She is 11 now, but the Homespun Childhood is for ages 8 to 13. My mom decided that she loved that curriculum and wanted to take back over. So we've gotten quite a bit of stuff for this new curriculum that I wanted to go over, but one thing I wanted to mention prior is that I think Homespun Childhood recommends core knowledge units, and they're around. We all know them. You don't have to buy them, but we did end up purchasing readers and teacher guides for several units that went along with the American Revolution and post-revolution, which is what my daughter's currently learning. So we're using a combination of core knowledge, some books I'm going to show you, several other resources, but I wanted to show you these because I have really vacillated between just using core knowledge on a computer and not printing it, because I believe the teacher guides were between 15 and 25 depending on how big they were, and the readers were between 7 and 10 for what we got, just depending on how big they are. So I definitely like having this all printed, being able to just highlight that. So let me show you all the units that we got. So obviously we have the American Revolution. And then we have the United States Constitution that comes after that. Then you have the early presidents and social reformers. And the next unit is Understanding Civics. And these are in order as they're listed on the Core Knowledge website. We also got the primary source teacher guide and the primary source activity book. I really do appreciate this. I like that they provide primary sources. So if you are interested in a flip through of any of this, just let me know, or honestly, you can go to Core Knowledge yourself and you can download the units and look through all of it right there online for free. Okay, so some books that we're using. We got the Felicity series. So we have book 1, we have book 2, book 3. All of these were used and they were so cheap. Book 4 and 5. And then we have book 6. We also got Felicity, the Boston Tea Party. And there's a bunch of mysteries for Felicity. Felicity Mystery, Peril at King Street. We have another mystery, Lady Margaret's Ghost. Another mystery is A Traitor in Williamsburg. And then we got a bunch of interactive You Choose books. So this is the Colonist Revolt. For all of these, there's several different, like here you'll see 39 choices and 16 endings. Resisting the British Rule. This has 67 choices and 15 endings. Fighting for Independence, Building a New Nation, and lastly, the Revolutionary War. So those are all the resources that we've gotten recently for history. So now these next several items I would consider for both of my children. So the next one is this Ambleside Online Poetry Anthology Volume 1. Now, this was a recommendation from Mary over at One Room Schoolhouse. I love her. She's so sweet. And when I saw this on one of her videos, I asked her if she felt like it would be appropriate. Was it too old for my son? Was it too young for my daughter? And she thought that it would be great for both of those ages. So I ended up purchasing it off Amazon, and it goes through it by month. So you have several different poems per month. And I went through a lot of these, and I really did like a lot of what I saw. I'm definitely the type of person that will pick and choose what I like, but most of these I thought were fantastic and just a great way to bring in more poetry. We do a lot of Shel Silverstein. We do a lot of like National Geographic nature. We sprinkle in other things, but I wanted to bring in more variety of poetry. And this was a great way, and it's just a great way to have both my kids together. Because they're 6 years apart, it's sometimes hard to combine them. Okay, another thing I got was Nature Anatomy by Julia Rothman. I know this is so popular and I'm so late to the game. I am putting together a kindergarten science curriculum for my son, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to be utilizing this. And also I have found that I really would like to have some sort of reference books because my son is so curious about everything, and it would be really nice to have a book that I could open up and find things like about the bug he saw or the flower or the bird. So definitely a good reason to get this. Another one that I got, which is used, which you can see it's at the bottom, but I get it for half the price. This is Slow Down, 50 Mindful Moments in Nature. I'm also really late to the game on this. And I am using this for my kindergarten science program. And so instead of getting it from the library over and over and over again, I just decided to bite the bullet. I mean, you can't regret having this in your collection. Okay, so now let's move on to my son. And for him, I'm going to start first with the book, and then I'll move into some curriculum. So I got this, If You Go Down to the Woods Today, More Than 100 Things to Find. Oh my gosh, I saw this, I think, on Instagram, and I loved it. This like is a seasonal book. It goes, but it doesn't just go through the seasons. You have like rainy day, you have birthdays, you have school days, you have home sweet home, you have summer that brings the sun in the field, you have high summer, you have swimming lessons, you have autumn days, you have rainy days, you have picnic, you have putting on a play, you have art class. So these are just really fun 2-page spreads where we read a little bit and then he finds a bunch of stuff. So I'll just go through and find what's relevant to what we're doing and just kind of bring this in like more of a morning basket for him. Okay, so now let's talk about a curriculum that I got for him. If you guys have been around, you're like, oh my gosh, you have so much. Here's the thing. A lot of this curriculum that I'm going to show you, my son has kind of made a big stride as far as his phonetic awareness and where he is developmentally with phonics. Where he's at is he's starting to be able to identify beginning sounds of the letters that he's learned, which we're currently on K. He can identify them in a word. He can identify the beginning sound most of the time. He's really getting really good at doing that. He's showing a lot more interest in writing. He's almost 5. He'll be 5 in a few weeks. But so I had been looking at this curriculum, and I decided just to get the series, get ready for the code. I got A, I got get set for the code B, and go for the code C. So currently with A, I think there's like 75 pages, and he can go up to page 53. He hasn't learned T yet. That would be the first letter he hasn't learned, but we're definitely not going to get to 53 pages before he learns T. He's currently on K. So I was really excited to get these. I just got them as a bundle. I felt like it was cheaper. So we will just casually bring this in. Okay, guys, the next thing that I need to show you is this 4x6 storage box. And there's 16 in here, and it comes in this really large case for storage. These are really fantastic. Each of the cases is meant for a 4x6 storage. They have tags that you can write what it is. This is so great, you guys. I have recently purchased a lot of curriculum, which I'll show you, which can easily go in here to help it organize for all the new phonics activities I have got for my son, because as I mentioned, he is progressing and does need to have a little different variety. The phonics like supplements that I had for him were really good for where he was at, and now I'm finding he's just needing a little more. So let me show you what that entails. One of the things that I recently got is all of these clothespins. And the reason that I got these is in the Purposeful Preschool curriculum, she has what are called alphabet clip cards. And I had never utilized them at this point because I didn't feel my son was ready for them. And now he is. And they have several different levels. They have this level where you're matching the letter to the letter in capital to capital, and you'll just put the clip here. They also have it where you do capital to lower, lower to capital. They also have ones where you just have a picture. You take the picture and you're just gonna clip, this is a grape, so he would do it to G. So I probably did not need as many clothespins as I got, but it's so hard to see on Amazon everything you get. Okay, so the next things that I got were from the Moffat girls. They're on Teacher Pay Teachers and they have fantastic phonics resources. I have more of their resources in my cart that I will be getting later as my son progresses. One of the things that I got was this counting symbol game. I was super excited about. These are like $3 or $4 each. So here's the game board and you have several different options. So I just laminated this. And you have your instructions, which I laminated, and then you have all these cards, which I also laminated and cut out. I spent like 2 days straight just laminating and cutting. And I feel like this is a really, really fun way to learn syllables and to bring that in for more practice. My son does love games, so was really excited about that. Another game that I got from them is this beginning sound scoop. So you have the letters on the ice cream cone, and then you have 3 different pictures that match it. So I, again, cut out and laminated and used my handy dandy storage box. And this is, I'm just gonna mix it up probably with like 5 or 6 letters and just have him work on his beginning sounds. Just a different way to mix everything up. The next thing I got from the Moffat girls is this rhyming word crayons. This is working on word families. So I've got 3 different boxes of this. So we just have different families and different crayons that you put together. This is a little more challenging for my son, but I really like that I have, 3 different boxes of this in order to really work on that with my son where he's at. The next thing I got from the Moffat girls was this counting syllables game. So you have these different cards that you use, these little math manipulatives, to mark how many syllables there was. So I have probably 4 containers that have different syllables in it. This is my 3 syllables. I have 4 syllables. I have 1 syllable words and I have 2 syllable words. We'll be mixing it up a little bit, but this is just another fun way to use some math manipulatives to help him identify those syllables. So those are the activities that I got from her. We're working on beginning sounds, rhyming, and syllables. I feel like he is comfortable enough at those that we're able to work with those. There are other phonetical awareness skills that he's not quite there yet, but they do have resources for that I will be getting when he gets to that point. All right, now let's move on to some resources I got from Crystal McGinnis. She is also on Teacher Pay Teachers. I really like her. One of these is this alphabet find and highlight. Now, what I like about this is you're finding the capital and the lowercase letter. And I decided instead of highlighting, I was going to get some more dot markers. My dot markers have died. They have been pretty close to dead for a while. So I just got some new ones so that he can just use that. Because I'm really trying to work on lowercase and uppercase and matching them and understanding it. I don't actually call the letters by their names yet because that really confuses him. So I'll say like big A and little A is how we're kind of identifying it right now. So those are new dot markers. Another thing that I got from her is this alphabet find in color. So what you would do here is you would read this poem and then they would color the pictures for that sound. So A is for apples and an apple tree. A is for alligators looking at me. So they would color those, and then if there was any other item here that started with an A, then they would color that in. So that's just a fun way to mix it up. We work on phonics pretty much every single day, but I find that variety is the key. And these are just literally a few dollars each. I mean, the biggest thing is printing them out, binding them, or laminating them. But if you have the tools, then it definitely makes it easier. All right, so some other supplies I got these magnetic letters and numbers. I really like that the vowels are a different color than the actual consonants. I feel like that's very helpful. In Purposeful Preschool, she has these mats that you can put on a baking sheet, which I just got this from the dollar store. So you would just put these on a baking sheet. You've got letters and capital letters as well. And then you would just use the magnetic letters. Also, additionally, I took these and I cut these up. And I put magnetic tape. I didn't know this existed until recently. So I got magnetic tape and I put it on the back of it. So these are just pictures. So I'll put these on the baking sheet for him, and then he'll find the letter that corresponds with that sound. So really like incorporating things like that. How did I go 41 years and not know about magnetic tape, you guys? There are a lot of purposeful preschool activities that I was not using because I didn't feel like he was ready yet. So that's also been really nice to pull in from resources that I already had as his development of phonetic awareness has increased. The next thing I want to show you is some supplies that I put together for sand forming. Gentle Feast. Every week we'll have you form letters in the sand. And I had bought your traditional kit from Amazon that had the sand and the letters. However, there was no cover. So when I ended up purchasing one with a cover, they just had little magnets that didn't stay on there, and I couldn't find any other one put together that had it. And my son really enjoys forming not just letters, but numbers and other things in sand. So after lots of research, I found a 2-pack of this. It's pretty thin. On Amazon. I would have got a 1-pack, but they didn't have it. And what I love about this is it's easy to clasp open, but it's very secure. Nothing is going to fall out of it. Maybe the sand will move around, but that's not a big deal. And I also purchased this sand. This was a 3-pounder. I wasn't sure how much I would need, and as you can see, I've used about 2 out of 3 pounds in it. And I just got a very basic clip from the dollar store to use to spread the sand after he forms any letters in the sand. So this is just kind of something I put together on my own, but I am really happy with it. It seems to be a lot more secure. All right, guys, the last item for my son is these pattern blocks. Now, why did I get pattern blocks? If you've been around, you know I already have pattern blocks. Well, I'll tell you why. Because in the Purposeful Preschool curriculum, she specifically calls out for these pattern blocks. And I understand why, because the pattern blocks I had did not fit this. The colors didn't match and the size, and my son would get really, really frustrated. So I have since learned that if I use the link she gave, I would get the pattern blocks that actually fit the templates that she gave us, because my son loves doing the pattern blocks for it, but he was getting very, very, very frustrated with the fact that they didn't fit and the colors weren't right. All right, guys, so that is it. I know that was a lot. It was a lot. As you can see, a lot of this was for my son's phonics and a lot of supplies required for the resources that I got. And my daughter, I'm kind of going in a few new directions. So if you have any questions about anything, please let me know. I will try to link it all below. Some of it I did get used, but I can link where you can find it. Hopefully I will remember. I'm not always the best at that. Okay, guys, I'll see you in my next video.